In the yesterday's class, we have started and given the introduction to the fifth unit. Your fifth unit is transaction processing system. So what is this a transaction processing system? So already I have told that it is an information processing system. It is also a type of information system which is going to record the company's transactions. So you know that what is meant by transaction. In DBMS also we are doing the transactions. So how the transactions we are doing by using read and write operations. So a transaction is nothing but it can be defined as exchange between two or more business entities. It may be any type of transaction. There may be a exchange between two or more entities. That is the transaction. Okay. So here, what are the types of the transactions we have seen in the last class? So I have told you the transaction processing system has certain characteristics. So what are those characteristics? Performance. First one, you should have the good performance, reliability, okay, atomicity property. That means a transaction processing system must have that acid properties. So you know that what are meant by acid properties. A means atomicity, C means consistency, I means isolation, D means durability. So you should obey all the acid properties in which you are which you have learned in your DBMS. So here, how many types of transactions are there? Two types of transactions. One is internal transaction and the another one is the external transaction. So what the name itself, it is saying it is internal. That means in an organization, we are dealing the business activities, whatever the business operations and business activities we are doing within the organization. That means for your organization purpose, you are doing your you are specifying some recruitment policy, you are deciding some recruitment policy, promotion policies, production policies, the things, the policies, various policies which you are using, that are all are called internal transactions. So those transactions which are internal to the company and are related to that internal working of an organization. So for running of your or working of your organization, you are performing certain number of transactions. Those type of transactions are called internal transactions. Now moving to that second type, that is external transactions. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
Audible, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So the transactions which are external to the organization, that means we are doing some business activities outside the organization which are related with external sources. Those type of transactions are called external transactions. Once again, the transactions are business activities. We are dealing with the external source of that organization, which are related with the external sources. So then the type of transactions are called external transactions. So what are the examples of these external transactions? Examples, we are doing the sales activities, purchases activities. So when you are doing the sales means we are exchanging some goods and services with some customers. So with some money. So some transaction is happening with the outside the environment, outside the organization. Next, so what is the process of transaction processing system? So what are the steps are involved in this TPS? So in shortcut, we are calling it as a TPS. So what is the process? How the data it is using? So generally, we are saying that it contains 7 steps in processing of a transaction. First one is, so for that means, suppose we have taken an example. You and your friend are doing a conversation. So what is the purpose of that conversation? You want to exchange some information. So what is exchanged there? Some information is exchanged. What is the what type of transaction has been occurred in between you and your friend? Some exchange of information has been occurred in between you, and with that exchange of information, both are affected. That is called a transaction, a general example. So here it requires some data entry. So whenever it wants to perform that transaction processing, it, it will be done on the some data. So how the data entry will be done? By using input devices using keyboard. So how that and some video display terminals also we are using. So for seeing the output, we are using the display terminals. So next one is the data capture. How you are going to capture the data? Suppose in retail stores on supermarkets when you are going to purchase the things. So after purchasing the things, you are going for billing. So how they are getting the billing there, whatever the product you have purchased, they are scanning that particular barcode of that particular product. So optical scanning of barcodes, whenever they are scanning the particular barcode, automatically they are getting that product details. So what is the cost of the product? What are the manufacturing details? What is the expiry date, or any discounts are provided for that product? All those data they are getting. Okay, from that data they are providing the billing. So here it captures the data directly without the use of the data media by optical scanning of the barcodes printed on the product packaging. In that way, we are capturing the data. So you have to verify whether the data is validated or not. For example, you have taken any product, you want to take the billing of that particular product, but that product is not entered into that database of that billing system. So actual billing system database loki adi enter అవ్వలేదు. సో మీకు ఆ ప్రోడక్ట్ ని మీకు ఇవ్వడానికి కుదరదు అని చెప్తారు కొన్నిసార్లు. సో they are verifying whether the data is validated or not. That means we are applying some error detection methods and error correction methods, and we are verifying whether the data is valid data or not. So suppose you are sometimes you are getting it as invalid. So the data you have provided, we are checking whether it is valid or not, or the data is not enough data. That means it is not containing consistent data. So you are saying it is inconsistent data. So data validation is done to verify whether it is a valid data or a consistent data or inconsistent data by using error detection methods and error correction methods. So that can be done by data validation in the data validation. Next, processing and revalidation. So here you have discussed OLTP, online transaction processing system in DBMS. OLTPs are used in DBMS. So online transaction processing, these are used in ATM transactions, in which the transactions are accumulated over time and processed identically. So here these ATM type of transactions are accumulated transactions for a particular period of time, and they are processed identically. Suppose if you take batch processing type, that means updating the checks in the banks. This is the batch processing system. So similar type of details they are going to be updated. So batch processing may be done, they may be done on daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis or any other time period. So particular time period they are considering, it may be a daily time period or weekly time period or a monthly basis, appropriate, which may be appropriate to that application. So what type of application or what are the transactions they want to perform in a batch wise. So batch wise processing. So for that for the type of processing is called batch processing. Next, how we are storing the data. What is the storage? So here we are using some cases. The magnetic tapes are used often to store the data in batch processing methods, and OLTP magnetic disks are also used in DBMSs, and they are going to store the result and then output into the decision maker, because we are storing the results, and these results are analyzed by the decision makers for any particular problem issue, for solving a particular problem. So these outputs, what are the outputs and results are generated, these will be sent to a decision maker. That is happening. Next, output generation. So how you are going to produce your output? So we are producing the outputs in the form of documents, reports. In DBMS, you have learned when you are performing the labs how to perform the reports generation, forms generation, screens or panels, how you are going to generate in that forms. Forms lo manam screens, panels generate చేయడము, reports generate చేయడం నేర్చుకుంటాం. Next, query support. Certain types of queries we are giving, for that queries we are getting some type of results. So examples of queries include checking on the status of the sales order. What is the status of that sales order? Suppose if you want to check the balance in an account, okay, or if you want to check an amount in the stock in inventory, how much stock is available, whether you want to put an order for a particular item, whether the stock is available in the inventory or not. So if you want to check the status like that, or if you want to check your balance in your account, or if you want to check your sales order, we are posing the queries for doing such type of activities. Okay, so note down, there is a flow chart. So whatever the basic steps we have done, these steps are represented in this flow chart. Here The transaction processing system is also information system. It is using the data. On the data, it is performing the activities, transactions. So we are collecting the data. So data collection is going to be happen. So after collecting the data, we are performing some editing. So when you are editing your data, you are going to be identify whether it is a good data or bad data, or consistent data or inconsistent data. So if it is bad data, so again it needs to be corrected. So it should be made some corrections. Again, we are sending into the data collection. That means whatever the data you have collected, it is not the valid data for your purpose. It is not relevant data for your purpose. Then you need to collect the relevant data for your application or for your task purpose. Again, you are going back. Suppose when you are editing the data, whatever the data is available, it is relevant data or good data. So according to your application, you need to do some manipulations or certain operations or certain processing on that data. That is called data manipulation. So after performing certain manipulations on certain data processing operations, you are storing the data. So after storing the data, what you are generating, you are going to prepare a TPS reports. That means transaction processing system reports in the form of documents or in the form of queries posing or in the form of in another way, forms generation or document production. So in this way, we are getting all these things. Note down the flow chart. Transaction processing system activities. Here we are explain one more table. So here, how this MIS is related with the transaction processing system. What are the functions of MIS in terms of data processing requirements? We know that management information system is also a set of components. And again, it uses hardware, software, and networking components. See here, suppose your inputs are internal transactions. What this MIS will do whenever you are managing, you are maintaining managed information system, the processing here, it requires some sorting of these internal transactions. For your purpose, you require the sorting of these transactions. So after sorting these transactions, you may need to produce the summary reports of that sorted transactions. For example, another input is like this. You have number of internal files. So your processing must be done as a merging of these files. So merging is required. So after merging the files, you have to prepare that action reports of that merging on that files. Next, your input may be like that structured data. You are having the structured data. Whenever you are having the structured, the data may be structured and unstructured. So if you are having the structured data means we can prepare the summarizing reports. Okay, for taking a particular any decisions, in some cases we required summarized reports. So that means we can prepare that summarized reports from that structured data. So in that way, the functions of MIS can be used in terms of preparing sorting purposes, merging purposes, and summarizing operations. We are doing all these things, and we are going to get summary reports, detailed reports, action reports. Those can be generated when you are using the MIS with TPS. Now note down this table and the flow chart. Or take a screenshot. We are moving into the another topic, that is transaction models. What are the various types of transaction models? Are you there? Are you there? All are okay. So the first one is a flat transaction model. What is this a flat transaction model? How the transactions are going to be occur in this flat transaction model, and what is the basic diagram for the flat transaction model? See, this is similar to your transaction management system in your DBMS. So there we are writing some begin, number of operations which you are going to be done, operation 1, operation 2, operation 3, and number of operations. We are writing commit. In some certain cases, it will commit the transaction or abort. That means we are doing undoing the all the operations which are we have written in the block. So the block of transactions are going to be undone. That is abort. So commit means it is That means we are performing the transaction in one state, that it will be changed to that another state whenever it is successfully executed. That means a flat transaction begins at one consistent database. That means we are starting at one consistent database state. So, and either it ends at another consistent state. That means the transaction commits. Whenever the transaction is successful, so that means it is whenever it is a commit, so it is going to be occurred at or ends at another consistent state of that database. Now, or in some cases it is aborted. Some transactions are aborted means whatever the changes you have made into the database that are not visible. So whenever your transaction is commit means whatever the modifications you have done to your database, they are visible. Okay. So here that means whenever that it is abort means the transaction abort means it remains in the same consistent state. That means whatever the changes you are doing that are not occurred, that have not been occurred, that have undone. Okay, that is called abort. You understand the things, and you can write any example which you have done previously. So here for doing the transactions, we are using the read and write operations. So you can for these operations, if you are able to write any particular small code, you can write that code also. So general format is like this. Note down the diagram for flat transaction model. Next, second one is nested transaction model. Nested means it is like a hierarchical model, tree like a structure. So here at the top level root, there may be a transaction. From this, we are having sub number of transactions. That means the nested transaction model defines the concepts and mechanisms for breaking up the larger building block of a flat transaction into a set of smaller transactions. Here, why we are using nested transaction model means here we are having that mechanisms. We are able to breaking up a larger flat transaction, larger building a transaction model into a number of smaller transactions. అంటే ఒక లార్జర్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ని మనము స్మాలర్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ కింద మనం బ్రేక్ చేస్తాం. ఈ స్మాలర్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ వాట్ వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ దమ్, వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ దమ్ యాజ్ ఏ sub transactions. What we are calling here sub transactions. This here T naught is the larger transactions. Here on the top level we are taking the root transaction. We are dividing them into a sub transactions T1, T2, T3. Again this sub transaction is divided into further T11 and T12, because this T1 is divided, that's why we are giving the number in T11 and T12. Suppose here T3 is divided T31. Suppose another division is the T32. So this is the nested from model. Okay. So when you are using this nested transaction model, it has an hierarchical tree structure that includes the top level transaction and a set of sub transactions. As I have told you that nested means it is a hierarchical tree structure model. It is like a tree-like organization. So we are having top level, we are having the root and a set of sub transactions. అంటే మనకు ఒక పేరెంట్ చైల్డ్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. పేరెంట్ వచ్చేసరికి మనకు రూట్ అవుతుంది, చిల్డ్రన్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అనేవి సబ్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అవుతాయి. సో సబ్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అట్ ద లీఫ్ లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ద ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ట్రీ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ ద ఫ్లాట్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్. ఏవైతే మనం సబ్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ చిల్డ్రన్ అంటున్నామో అవి లీఫ్ లెవెల్ దగ్గర ఏవైతే ఉంటాయో those leaf level transactions are called as the flat transactions under. Okay na? So what we are doing here, we are breaking up the large building block of a transaction into a set of smaller transactions. We are breaking the larger building block of a transaction into a smaller number of transactions. Those smaller number of transactions are called sub transactions. So this is also called a net transaction model, and it has another name as hierarchical tree structure, which includes the top level transaction and a set of sub transactions. Okay. Next, the third level is the multi-level transaction. Have you noted that diagram for this? This is the flat transaction model representation, and this is the nested transaction model representation. So if you are able to remember these diagrams, you can easily write the content. So next, multi-level transaction model. This is supported by the concepts of compensating transactions. we are having two types of compensating transactions and contingency transactions. What is meant by compensating transactions and what is meant by contingency transactions, we will see. So here we will briefly discuss the concept of two things, that is compensating transactions and which is opposite to this, that is contingency transactions. What is this, the compensating transaction? These are the type of certain type of transactions. They are designed to undo the effect of original transactions that have aborted. See here, we are performing certain group of transactions. We have accessed that database by performing certain read and write operations. After that, it has been aborted. That means whatever the things we have done to that database, the changes have not been occurred. So the changes have been undone. That means the undoing the effect of the original transactions is called compensating transactions. So what is this, the contingency transaction? These are designed to replace the task of original transactions that have failed. So if you are replacing that original transactions which are failed, that means you are performing the redo operation here, then it is called contingency transactions. It is having the undoing the effect, and here we are redoing the operations. So we are replacing the task of original transactions which have been failed. That type of transactions are called contingency transactions. So in multi-level transaction model, when you are going to execute this type model, we need to we are considering the two types of transactions. Next, another one is Saga's transaction model. So what is this, a Saga's transaction? We know that Saga's transaction is a sequence of transactions that are going to be occurred, so in a particular time period. So the Saga's transaction model also makes use of concept of compensating transactions to support the transactions whose execution time is long. That is the thing. So here, this is Saga's transaction is a sequence of transactions, and it makes use of the concept of compensating transactions. See here, what is meant by compensating transaction? Just now we have seen. So what is the purpose here? We are going to support the transactions whose execution time is very long. So suppose a certain number of transactions, their execution is time is very long, and it is taking more time to execute a particular type of transactions. For supporting such type of compensating transactions, Saga's transaction model has been introduced. Okay, Saga's transaction consists of consecutive chain of flat transactions. Already have told that it is a sequence of transactions. That means it's containing a chain of transactions, SI, that can commit independently. We can commit these transactions independently. So sequence of transactions T1, T2, T3, T4, and we are saying commit. So through this sequence of transactions, we are doing some changes to our database. So next, whenever it is a successful Saga. So whenever it is not successful, aborted, that means whatever that changes you have made that have been undone. So T1, T2, T3, T4 abort. That means again, the changes you made are not happening to that database if they are not visible. Okay, that is the thing. An unsuccessful Saga. So note down this is a successful Saga and unsuccessful Saga diagram. Next here, see a transaction TA, whenever it is aborted. So whatever the changes we are doing the database, they have done undo, and undo effect jarugutundi annam kada. దట్ ఈస్ అండు ఎఫెక్ట్ జరిగిందని చెప్పడానికి మనం ఇలా arrows తో మనం ఇలా చూపించాము. సో ద ఫ్లో ఆఫ్ కంట్రోల్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ దిస్. సో కాంటింజెన్సీ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ లో మనకి ఏమవుతుంది, మనం ఏం చేస్తామని చెప్తున్నాము, రీడూ చేస్తాము, రీడూ యాక్షన్ అనేది పెర్ఫామ్ చేస్తాం. అంటే ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ లో మనము రీడూ ఆపరేషన్ పెర్ఫామ్ చేసి మళ్ళీ అది జరిగేలా మనం చేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ ద కాంటింజెన్సీ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్. whenever it is not happening, that is a compensating transaction, undoing effect, and this is the redo effect of contingency transaction. Next, the diagram for compensating and contingency transaction. Next, split and join transaction. Split means we are dividing the transaction. Join means we are combining the transaction, like that only. The split and join transaction model, it focuses on activities that have uncertain duration and uncertain developments and are interactive with other concurrent activities. So whenever we need to use a certain type of transaction, means when we will use this split and join transaction means, so whenever we are having some certain activities, those activities have uncertain duration and they are having uncertain developments and they are interactive with over other concurrent activities. So where they need to depend on another activities, concurrent activities. So in that case, we are using the split and join transactions. So what is the main idea behind this split and join transactions here? It is to divide on an ongoing transaction. And whatever the transaction it is occurring, we are dividing that transaction into two or more serializable transactions. That is the splitting purpose. And suppose whenever based on your requirement, we are going to merge the results. So what your transaction is going to be occurring, number of T1, T2, T3 are occurring. So based on that, we need to match the results. Based on your condition, we have to match the results. At that time, we are joining. We are doing the joining operation. So here, the main idea is here. If you want to divide an ongoing transaction into two or more serializable transactions, or whenever you want to match the results of several transactions together as one atomic unit, then we will use that split and join transactions. So whenever you are going to divide one particular transaction into two or more serializable transactions, or based on your requirement, you want to combine several transactions into a single atomic unit for getting the matched results. So then you are using the join and split transactions. Here the diagram is going to represent that. Here T1 is the transaction. For our purpose, we are splitting the transactions into T2 and T3. So we are applying the split model. So here the T1 transaction has been divided into two ways, two serializable transactions, T2 and T3. Here join means, here we are having some T1 and T2 transactions. We are joining. That means we want to match the results of these transactions. So we are combining these two transactions and we are combining it as a T3 transaction. That is the join operation. So note down this diagram, then you can write the content. Okay, next, transaction on a transaction oriented database system. See here, a transaction processing system plays a role as a mediator. So which is going to accept the transaction request from the users and which is going to dispatching these requests to the database system. So here what we are saying, a transaction processing system is playing as a role as a mediator. It is working as a mediator. So how it is working as a mediator, it is going to accept the transaction request. So whatever the transaction requests are coming from the users, it is going to accept those transaction requests from the users and dispatching these requests to the database system. So that the particular request is from the user. This is intended to that particular database. So it is dispatching that request to that particular database system and it coordinates the execution of the involved transaction and it is performing the coordinates of execution of that, what are the involved transactions are going to be occurred, and forwards the transaction results to the original acquirers who are acquiring that particular data or result from that particular database system. It is going to forward that transaction result to that original acquirers. So who are that original requirement persons are there? For those acquirers, the transaction results are going to be forwarded. That is the thing. See here, transaction processing system is there. Number of clients, different clients has a different types of request. So whenever they are going to access this transaction processing system, in turn it is sending this request to the intended database system. This is dispatching the request to that database system. So it is performing certain processing, and it coordinates the execution of that involved transactions, and it is sending the results or forwarding the results to that original acquirers. Okay. Again, note down the diagrams. The diagrams are important here. ఇప్పటివరకు మీకు డయాగ్రామ్స్ లేవు. డయాగ్రామ్స్ ఉన్న చోటైనా మీరు యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటే కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈజీగా రాయగలుగుతారు. కాంటెంట్ ఎక్కువ లేదు ఇక్కడ మనకి, ఓన్లీ డయాగ్రామ్స్ బేస్డ్ లో మనకి కొన్ని పాయింట్సే ఉన్నాయి. నెక్స్ట్, if you take here users and applications, for different application purposes we are accessing the transaction processing system. So a user is putting or posing some request to this transaction processing system. So that the transaction processing system is dispatching that request to that database system. So again it is sending the results. Again this is transaction results are sent to that user. So you can represent the way in two ways, things in two ways. Either you can represent in this way, or you can represent the things in this way. So here we are representing the diagram as a transaction oriented database system. Here we are representing the things, how the data flow occurs in a transaction oriented database system, how the data flow occurs. So in this diagram we are mainly mentioning how the request goes, how the processing will be done, how the database what is the flow of database operations after performing the database operations, how we are getting the results, and how we are sending that transaction results to the users. Here only architecture we are specifying. Okay. Now what is this MIS is doing here? So your management information system is converting a transaction processing system data into a information for monitoring performance and managing an organization. So here internally what is this MIS is performing? It is converting this transaction processing system data into information for monitoring purposes and managing an organization. These transaction recorded in a transaction processing system, we are analyzing the results and we are reporting, and which are reported by this MIS management information system. They serve the management level of the organization. So for whom the these results are going to be required, that means who are the decision makers in your organization, those decision makers are given these results. That means we are sending these type of results to those decision makers. So here what we are saying here, the transactions recorded in this TPS, we are analyzing these transactions and we are presenting the reports reported by this MIS management information system. They serve the management level of the organization, and they are providing the managers with reports. They are providing the managers the reports which they required with respect to this accessing. So and often online access to the organization's current performance and historical reports. What type of reports they involve? So what we are providing online access to the current performance of what is the current performance of your organization. If you want to know what is the current performance of your organization, so we are providing that online access to monitor the current performance of an organization. And if you want to see the historical records, that means if you want to take a decision on a product manufacturing, whether you want to increase the product manufacturing or if you want to decrease the product manufacturing based on your sales report. So if you want to monitor the things previous years, what was happened in the previous years, you require the historical records. For doing that historical records, again we are internally we are connected with the data warehouses. So we are getting that historical records and we are analyzing the things and we are doing the future predictions. So for that purpose, again you have to write note down this diagram. So here already we have discussed in the business intelligence what is happening. So how the databases are connected with that organization MIS, and what are operations we are performing. OLAP ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఇదిగోండి drill down reports, exceptional reports, demand reports, key indicator reports, schedule reports. Again with the data warehouse we are using data mining tools and OLAP methods. So last class lo మనం డేటా మైనింగ్ అనాలిసిస్ ఎలా జరుగుతుంది, ఓలాప్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, డ్రిల్ డౌన్ అండ్ రోల్ అప్ ఆపరేషన్స్ ఏ పర్పస్ లో చేస్తాము, ఎందుకు మనం రిపోర్ట్స్ జనరేషన్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం అనేది చెప్పే పర్పస్ లో ఇది. దిస్ ఈస్ అన్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ MIS. It may be with maintaining financial MIS, accounting MIS, marketing MIS, human resources MIS. Because for organization, if the organization is very big, we need to maintain separate things for everything. So separate financial management information system, accounting related accounting management report system. From this, we are preparing that account statements also. So marketing management information system, human resource management system, which people are working with the good knowledge. అంటే ఎవరైతే knowledgeable persons ఉన్నారు, నాలెడ్జ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ సిస్టమ్ చూసాము. సో ఎవరు ఏ నాలెడ్జ్ ఉన్న పీపుల్ మనం ఎలా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటే మన ఆర్గనైజేషన్ కి బెనిఫిట్ అవుతుంది. సో వీ నీడ్ టు ఎవాల్యుయేట్ ద థింగ్స్ లైక్ దట్ ఇన్ అవర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్. సో ఎవరు క్వాలిఫైడ్ పీపుల్, ఎవరు నాన్ క్వాలిఫైడ్ పీపుల్, హౌ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యూటిలైజ్ దట్ క్వాలిఫైడ్ పీపుల్ ఫర్ అవర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఫర్ గెటింగ్ ద గుడ్ బెనిఫిట్స్. So in that human resource management, we are evaluating the things, how it is connected to this database of databases. If it is the database of valid transactions, or if it is databases of external data. So here, how the internet is connected with the business transactions and TPS and business transactions, and what is that extranet. So this is the overall diagram, how they are connected with each and every other. So note down this diagram. In tomorrow's class, we will start another topic. What are accounting information systems? What is the purpose of this accounting information system? Why we need to maintain accounting information systems in our organizations? So already we have learned the basic details of accounts in managerial economics and financial analysis. So why we are maintaining accounting statements in any organization? So if it is a very small organization, we are using an auditor for maintaining the records. So if it is a big organization, means separate account department must be maintained in that organization. How they are preparing the financial statements, how they are preparing the balance sheets, what is the purpose of preparing those balance sheets, so what purpose they are using, so how they will be helpful in any business organization. ఏ పర్పసెస్ లో మనకి అకౌంట్స్ యూజ్ అవుతాయండి? అసలు మన ఫైనాన్షియల్ పొజిషన్ ఎలా ఉంది ఒక ఆర్గనైజేషన్ గురించి తెలుసుకోవాలంటే మన అకౌంట్స్ మనకు చెప్తాయి. And these accounts are useful for the government purpose also. So how much tax we are going to pay for the government, that should be, for that purpose also we require that account statements. So like that we are having this different reasons why we should maintain that accounting information systems. So in tomorrow's class, I will start that particular topic and we will go through the concepts which are mentioned in that accounting information system. So I'm closing the class now. Thank you all.